here at Cities 92.9, the news and talk of Bloomington Normal, is the DPB show. You know, the theme of the show since its inception was about bringing some light to the corruption, to the darkness, knowing that Illinois is broken, but it's more than just Illinois, right? We get it. The rest of the country is experiencing a lot of what we're experiencing, but no better segue than to leap off into all of the different topics we cover today. What is a woman? And the the first anniversary of the release of the documentary done by Matt Walsh, What is a Woman? And now it's been amped up a little bit because of the current climate, the cultural climate, which I believe the release of this documentary last year and now resurfacing again this year, and with the scuttlebutt through Twitter and somewhat of the censorship that went on behind not holding this documentary back. Matt Walsh made it available to everyone to view for free. I just took advantage of doing that myself. I know Kevin Ferris across the way was the first one that I heard bring this documentary up last year, and he did a show on it. And it took me a whole year, Kevin, to watch the documentary because I didn't know what to expect, but it didn't seem as such urgency at the time that it does now for such a time as this. Obviously, Matt Walsh, better mind than I am. Obviously, he writes books. He's got a bigger audience than not that that's what I intend to have any day, is an audience as big as Matt Walsh. It would be nice, but he is ahead of the curve on this thing. And what you had said last year, that we've got to watch this movie because it covers it all. I guess I had different expectations of what he was going to do in the context of that documentary. And that documentary truly was very enlightening and sticking right on message with where we've come in 1 year.
Absolutely. Honestly. And I said this last year after I watched it like the night it came out. I was so excited for this because I think that the entire idea of the transgender movement and the attack on truth that is the transgender ideology needs to be at the forefront of a significant part of our conversation. For it's multifaceted in the idea that you have the LGBTQ pride movement, right? And there's a lot of people in that are your lesbians, gays, bisexuals that don't identify with the whole idea of trans. And Matt Walsh boils down the entire ideology into a simple question in which he goes around and asks people that are claimed to be experts in their fields and in gender affirming care and within sociological studies and universities. And he asks all of them simply, define what a woman is. What is a woman? And it seems so simple. I mean, it seems so simple, but the mental gymnastics that these people play to try to make sure that they're fitting their narrative and their cushy lie that they've been living in is insane to watch. And then he finally brings on real experts and the thing I love about it is because he's so coy the whole time too.
Yeah.
He's he approaches everything with a demeanor of curiosity. And I think that's probably the best part of it. He doesn't go into any conversation expecting to hate on anybody, lambast anybody, attack anybody personally. He goes in just, what is a woman? And then they're like, well, a woman is what you identify as. Well, what is that? What are you identifying as then? And he just follows up and he asks questions out of curiosity. And it's the most, like I said, I think this is the most important documentary for anyone to see. I think starting at the age of like 14, 15, people should be seeing this documentary because
I would have rather seen that in the Hayworth Junior High School than what Sarah Bonner had in there as far as the content of the textbook that she was sharing with her class and the different websites she was sharing. But Kevin, you bring up a great point in his demeanor, but he comes from a position, they know who Matt Walsh is.
Well,
everyone who sat in front of him knew who Matt Walsh was.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, I mean,
do you think even because he had that one senator, I think it was a senator, right? I gotta look up who it was, but he had a senator. Like a lot of them, it seemed like they might not have known that that's the interview they were walking into,
Well,
you know?
they might not have done their homework, but I think that once they sat with Matt, and this, you're not going to get the T-balls, the softballs. They are accustomed to the mainstream way of life where everything about them is edified, right? Is affirmed. In fact, affirmation is a big part of the questioning and the back and forth. They talk about that. Jordan Peterson's on it. The one thing you mentioned, though, and I want to make sure our audience understands, is you've got to go out and view this thing. That's what I was trying to get to the point. I can't
Absolutely.
believe that I waited a full year because I am better. Not that I necessarily wanted to hear and see what I viewed and listened to
Mhm.
on this documentary, but I'm better for it because it does get great insights